Welcome back to my Read Aloud channel and to the reading of chapter 2. Yes, still chapter 2 because I got so long winded doing the introduction to reading on my last video. But I did want to stop and say a couple of things that kind of just jumped out to me about the first, basically, half of chapter 2. Um, you know, it was just these sons of Eli. It was a little bit hard to differentiate. Were they talking about, when they said the servants would come, but it also at the beginning of the chapter, I believe, denoted that it was Eli's sons who were serving at the temple that way. And they were just like, no, we want this food, we want this meat to grill by on our own so we can cook it up the way we want it. And obviously that wasn't the purpose for that meat. It was it was being offered to God, and that God allowed for it to be consumed for sustenance as well. So they were just really out of line. And then their father, and that was just the first thing. And then obviously it was like the other thing, they're just sleeping with the women coming to church, to the temple. So their dad, was obviously appalled at their behavior, but I didn't think he disciplined them well enough to turn their behavior around. They just refused to listen to him. Yeah, and then it says his sons, however, did not listen to their father's rebuke, for it was the Lord's will to put them to death. So that is quite the statement, isn't it? So I think we're gonna wanna pause there, but I do want to finish the chapter. So we'll put a whatever in it, put a pin in it there, and then we'll keep reading, and we'll come back and we'll answer some questions around that. Okay. And the boy Samuel continued to grow in stature and in favor with the Lord and with people. Now a man of God came to Eli and said to him, "This is what the Lord says. Did I not clearly reveal myself to your ancestors' family when they were in Egypt under Pharaoh? I chose your ancestor out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to go up to my altar, to burn incense, and to wear an ephod in my presence. I also gave your ancestors' family all the food offerings presented by the Israelites. Why do you," and you is plural, if that's what the reference says, "scorn my sacrifice and an offering that I prescribed for my dwelling." So he's counting Eli in that. Why do you and your sons, basically, because they think he had a responsibility for them. Let's see. Why do you scorn my sacrifice and offerings I prescribed for my dwelling? Why do you honor your sons more than me by fattening yourselves on the choice parts of every offering made by my people Israel? So he's alluding to, I think, that this has been going on. It wasn't just like, Eli, he kind of participated in it more than he did. He didn't rebuke his sons when it started, like their behavior. He kind of participated, and he said he was honoring his sons more than God, right? And I think that's just a point that is interesting, and I just want to draw out, because we have to make sure that, we love our families, and we sometimes maybe we don't want to say something against what they're doing because we don't want to, we don't want to mess things up in the relationship, which is not true, right? But we just have to act against our flesh in that. So, okay, let's keep going. Therefore, now he says,